What's up, you little douche monkeys? Today we're gonna do a This Week in Stones. That's what it's called, yes. 30 a week, oh my goodness. We got some fun weeks coming up. Daphnis week, I know everyone wants a stone for Daphnis. But we're gonna talk about this week. We're gonna try to do it fast, super fast. It's not gonna happen fast. We're gonna try to do it fast. We're gonna not get into, because I've been talking way too much the past couple weeks about like things people don't care about. So we're gonna try to not do it as much. Try to focus on how to ruin things, where to use things. What else? Vertihill week. So good luck on everyone looking for Vertihill. First off, we've got the Hell Lady. Water Hell Lady. Where can we use her? So many places. So many places. Okay. So she can be used in PvP. She can be used in PvE. She can be used as a farmer. She's a great farmer for Fayman. She's got double AoEs. She's got this one, continuous damage. She's got this multi-hit, which with dots. And then she does increased damage under dots, and then she's got this another AoE, defense break, disturb HP recovery, and destroy enemies max HP. Where's that good? That's good against like tanky monsters, tanky fire monsters, especially because she got element advantage over fire. She also has not advantage over, but she's element neutral towards water. So tanky fire and water teams, like a lot of high level arena defenses, have tanky fire and water teams. So she's good. She's good against Necropolis because she got multi-hits. She's good against giants, as good as some other monsters. She's not the best for giants, but she's not the worst for giants either. She's pretty good for it. For dragons, I think I would prefer some other stuff. She could be good for arena offense for either a speed team against tanky fire and water teams, because it does, like, especially things that do damage based on their max HP, like Kumar and Rakan, they get cut down, right? They get cut down because it destroys the enemy's max HP. She could also be good, in a cleave team too, because she's got this kind of keeps the cleave monsters around longer. Plus she's got a secondary defense break. So let's say you have a cleave team of like something and a galleon, and the galleon derps. Well, she's still got that. You can have her tuned to go next after your primary defense breaker. This way she's got that secondary defense break on beforehand, so it's like, okay, well, I got the galleon only defense broke one, but oh no, that's okay. Beth comes in, she defense breaks more, but she's got this, she can make it more survivable for a turn 2 cleave team with this this leader skill. So that's pretty nice. She can be used for TOA. She can be used despair for TOA. Like either, I would say to make it, like, depends on if the rest of your team is like tanky. Excuse me. This does the dots too, so it's good for TOA hard as well. Dots and defense break and double AoEs. So you've got that there. And despair for TOA. But I mean, she's so flexible. How to ruin her? You could ruin her. You could also, for PvP, I would go standard attack runes, like either Fatal or Rage, Fatal Blade, Rage Blade. Focus could be good too. She does have debuffs on everything. Every single one of her skills has debuffs. You don't have to go Destroy because she already has Destroy built in. But I would say Fatal Blade, Rage Blade, Swift Blade, Despair Blade, or Focus. But you want those attack, crit damage, crit rate, and speed stats. What else? For those, I would say Will for PvP, of course, but make sure she's speed tuned with the rest of your team. I already mentioned the cleave team concept, and I mentioned the turn 1Z. I think she's great in both PvP and PvE, actually. I mean, she'd be useful. She's actually one of the more useful in multiple different places for as far as Hell Ladies are concerned. So I think she's pretty cool, Alright, who do we have next? We have Rakan, the Fire Chimera, who is just nerfed, and he's still OP. So, I don't want to hear any complaining about, oh, I only got a Fire Chimera. Yeah, you only got a Fire Chimera. Good. Still, these guys will still solo you. Well-ruined Fire Chimera can still solo. So usually Guild War defense, Arena defense, I lose at least once a week to a Rakan soloing my team, because collapse every single time. So he's usually ruined for HP crit damage, HP, Vampire Blade early game, or Vampire Will for PvP later game. This way he's got that constant immunity up. He's got this continuous damage. I don't care about that. Immunity against harmful effects. This is 3-turn immunity. Instantly recovers a turn when used. So it's, I mean, it's 3 turns, but he gets another turn anyway. So you got a kind of -1. So unless whatever. Anyway, and then we have this collapse, which is basically a revenge, right? It's a revenge. So when you think about like, okay, well, Violent could be good on him too. Yeah, Violent could be good, but I think one of the reasons that Vampire is used more often on this, also he's got this Fire Leader skill too. Great for arena defense, great for Guild War defense, because Guild War defense, you see a lot of people trying to. I mean, a lot of the offense monsters people like to use are Copper and Lucian. He's kind of anti-Copper, anti-Lucian, because I mean, Copper, yeah, you could still crit on him, but might be a little bit trickier. You might not crit. I see some people. I mean, you could still bulldozer him though. Let's be honest, you could still bulldozer him. You could still do other things to him. Giggity. But he's still nice for Guild War defense, and you can protect yourself against those bulldozer kind of teams anyway with your other 2 picks for your defense. But I think he's a great defense monster for both Guild Wars and for Arena. So, the reason that I think he's used more on Vampire, well, one of the reasons he's used more on Vampire is he's got that sustain from just RNG collapsing. If you Violent and then you have Collapse available again, then GG, you kind of screwed yourself there. So, well, I mean, if you have Collapse available again, you're just gonna use the skill, right? Okay. But still, I think that's one of the reasons that Vampire is more used. And it's usually like Vampire HP, crit damage, HP, Vampire Blade or Vampire Will, if you are high level Vampire Will, and as much speed and subs as you can. Speed, crit damage, crit rate, HP. Crit damage, crit rate, HP more, but still you need good speed on him too, though. You need good speed on him still. So that's it for Rakan. He could be used for, I mean, you're not going to use him for TOA. You're not going to use him for... Oh, also, Beth can be used against Beth is awesome against the Fire Rift Beast. Awesome against the Fire Rift Beast. But you're not going to use Rakan for a lot of other, like, PvP... not PvP, PvE content, right? You're not going to really use him in Giants V10. Not really. You're not really going to use him in Necropolis... so he's mainly for PvE, more so than the others. I mean, he can farm and stuff like that, but he's not going to be as fast as, let's say, Beth with the multiple AoEs. He'll still do it fine though. But anyway, more of a PvE monster. Sorry, PvP. Oh God, it's so late. More of a PvP Rakan. Vampire Will. HP, crit damage, HP, right? So now we have Triton the Sea Emperor. Usually, and he's more of a PvP monster too, because he does silence. You really can't, like, what are you gonna do? Silence in dungeons really isn't too effective. Attacks all enemies with a massive tidal wave. Now, this you could use in some dungeons as well, but this is really more for PvE as well. Leader skills available everywhere. Nice, but this is double AoEs. Still, I mean, he could still be a good farmer, right? If you get him early game, he can still be a good farmer. And you could rune him as a farmer early game, and then late game you can switch to something else. You can go attack or damage attack. I know he's a defense monster, but I mean early game. I'm talking early game. I know people are gonna still not understand that I'm talking early game. But for farming, you could do, because I've done things like when I first got Okeanos, I ruined him to farm himself up, and people were like, they were like private messaging me. They're like, dude, you ruined your Okeanos wrong, dummy. And I'm like, they're like, it's so much better if you do it like this. I'm like, no. I know. This is for farming. So you can do that. See, now I'm getting off track again. But he's mainly used for offense or defense. Usually arena though. Because I don't see him used too much in Guild Wars. Usually arena and RTA. He can also be used in... You could rune him to spare. You could rune him to spare too for... like TOA. You can use him for TOA, but I really because he's got the double AoEs, but Poseidon is way better for TOA than this guy. This guy's really more for PvE. He's a stripper. Why do I keep saying PvE? PvP! 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 PvPs. I like to say PP. How do I not get that? Okay, but usually ruined either Despair Focus, Swift Focus, Despair Will, Swift Will. Revenge is good on him too. Super fast. Super fast. Move before your Galleon, move before your Defense Breaker, move before your Crowd Control. He should be the one moving first, unless, like, second, because you're attack gauge booster, right? If you're not using an attack gauge booster, then first, right? So if you're using a Ryan or Bernard, then he should be after them. But if you're not using one of those, you can use him, you can make him swift and make him, like, super fast, and then just, remove all the beneficial effects on the enemy, set their attack gauge back, and then have your other monsters go next. Instead of that Bernard, which is going to push your attack gauge up, this guy is going to push the enemies back down. So either Swift, like I said, Swift or Despair, Focus, Will, Revenge. Revenge is good because he can transfer a weakening effect from himself onto the enemy. But also you do want good accuracy though. You want good accuracy. I would rune him. Early game, like I said, if you're gonna make him your farmer, you can do damage dealer, right? But aside from that, I would recommend him as he should be super fast and tons of accuracy. Those are the two main things for him. Aside from that, HP and defense. I really wouldn't ruin him as an attacker. Maybe if I had two, I would consider ruining one more offensively, and then another one more like as a just tanky support monster. But I really don't even know if I would build two. You really don't need two of this guy. Like, there's some monsters that like two of them would be nice. You really don't need two of this guy. He just needs to be fast, have good accuracy, either Swift or Despair, right? There we go for him. Stella, but he's not as useful as some of the other ones. He can be used for like secret dungeons too, though, because he's got multiple AoEs. Stella's the next one. Oh, Stella. Where can Stella be used? Not really for arena, because like arena and like farming, she's only a single target monster. She's like, she can do it, but she's really not the best choice for. I'm so gassy today. I don't even know what my problem is. I mean, aside from that, I'm drinking soda. Shut up. I know. Were you drinking soda? Yes. Shh. You didn't see anything. Dragons B10, yes. Giants B10, yes. Necropolis B10, yes. Good for dungeons. Good for Rift of Worlds as well. Because she's got the defense break and she's got the brand as well. She's got this. She can be used for. I've seen some people use her in R5. She's kind of squishy, so you gotta watch what you're doing there. You could maybe use her for certain guild wars. I don't know how. It depends on the team, though. It depends on the team. Like, you could go. It depends on the team. It really does. It depends on the team. But she could be used. She could be used in guild wars. But really not so much for PvP. More for PvE. For Giants, Dragons, Necropolis. Some Rift. Like in Hall of Hall of Fire. No, in the Fire Rift Beast. It's really nice elemental advantage. But in all of them, she's got this defense break and she's got this brand, right? So in all of them, she's gonna do, and she does big damage. That's the point of the Rift Beast, big damage. Of course, she's not gonna do very good in wind, but she's gonna do good in the water one. She's gonna do good in the fire one. She's gonna do good in the other ones as well, because she's big damage, right? Big damage, and two that in groggy state are gonna give your team so much more damage. You're gonna rank higher. So definitely a good monster to build. Okay. But not really for TOA. Not really for those things. More for Giant Dragon, Necropolis, and Rift. Then we have Vertiheal. Vertiheal, the passive, right? Passive increase the attack gauge of all your team by 20% every hit. Which you don't see here, but that's, I promise you, that's what it is. The thing is, with Vertiheal, we've got, and the dungeon speed leader skill too. He's there to multiply. I know people early game are like, what is Vertiheal for? Why is all the hype about Vertiheal? He's there to multiply the amount of turns that your team takes. All right, that's basically what he's for. He's not there for really much other than that. He's there. He's got a lot of speed with the speed leader, right? And he's got between that and the turn multiplication passive. You can use other monsters to replace him. He's not mandatory in Dragon's B10. He's just very nice for Dragon's B10 between the passive and the leader skill. He's very nice to give your team just a crazy advantage in turns over the enemy. So we've got this. This is actually better. I prefer to not skill up skill 2. I like to do a little bit more damage, but I don't want it to be usable more often. I don't want the skill cooldown to be reduced, because then the AI is going to use that skill more, and it's going to increase the attack age of your whole team less. All right. So I like him to use the Vampire Bat. I still like him to use him to have decent damage. But unless he's on a speed, if he's on speed crit rate HP like early game build, for survival, if you're doing like Vertiheal, Bella, Veramos, XX, whatever the other X's are, like Spectra and something else, for Dragon's B10, for like your first Dragon's B10 team, then you don't really need to worry about skill ups too much, because he's not even on a damage dealing build anyway. But when you get into later game and you're like everyone's got to do more damage, even a little bit helps, then you're gonna want to skill up your Vertiheal, right? But I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's not like Galleon where like he needs that all the extra chances to defense break as possible. He's not like he's one of the most useful Nat 4s in the game, but he doesn't need those skill ups like Galleon needs the skill ups, right? So definitely big priority change, big difference in priority for the Devilmons. So we've got what kind of runes for him, right? Early game, Swiftblade is probably your best bet. Speed, crit rate, HP, and just try to get speed and crit rate in stats and subs for the other slots. It helps to make him move. Now, okay, I'll try to explain this. You don't want him to be slow, because people were saying like, oh, you want it to be the slowest in your team, and then people were ruining him with like plus 20 speed, and he was just, they're like dying all the time. They're like, why does this not work? You want him to still be fast, right? You want him to move the last in your team to get the most out of your turn multiplication, but you don't want him to move. You don't want to make him slow to do that. You want to still make him fast. You just want to make the other monsters faster. All right. So I think there's a little bit of a miscommunication there, where like, oh, make Vertiheal slow. No, make Vertiheal still have good speed, but you want the rest of your monsters to move faster. I would still try to get Vertiheal. My Vertiheal is like attack, crit rate, attack, and he is, I think, like 170 speed, maybe 180, something like that. So early game, like I said, early game Swift Blade. You can go to Violent Blade for a little bit more mid game, still speed, crit rate, HP. And then when you go into the transition to do more damage, you can go. I see a lot of people like end game though. End game. This is after you have your towers maxed and everything. Your damage towers, your speed towers, all your towers maxed in the Glory Shop. You can go for more of a fatal. Or why am I so like? I feel like I'm gonna throw up. A fatal or rage build, and then do attack, crit, still crit rate, and an attack. I see some people doing fatal. I see some people doing rage. I mean, crit damage would be awesome, but you still do need. He needs the crit with his passive, so he absolutely needs the crit. I also have a how to. Do I have a how to run vampire video? I should have a how to run vampire video, and I'll discuss it more. We don't need to discuss it any more than that. Where else is he useful? Dragons is really the place to use him. I see some people using him in RTA. which is pretty cool. He's on, like, I see some people doing full revenge. Really, really fast, really tanky, still 100% crit rate. So I've seen that, and that got them some wins, but yeah, I mean, that's the standard vertigo for Dragon Speed 10. You can replace him with other stuff though if you don't have vertigo, right? I know some people are like, you just need turn multiplication, so speed buff on your team, speed break on the enemy team. That basically does what vertigo does. It's just getting more turns than your enemy. Okay. What do we have? This Fire Magic Knight attacks all enemies 2 times. Attacks the enemy target 2 times. Attacks all enemies with a more powerful strike on a 3rd attack. So AoE first skill. Attacks the target that isn't granted with the beneficial effects with 3 magic bullets silences. Okay, so this is like Iris. I don't know if you guys have seen Iris in gameplay, but it's basically like Iris, the light one. Except for this passive, it doesn't remove beneficial effects and it doesn't heal. Your attack speed increases as your HP gets lower, and you deal 50% more damage if the enemy has more HP than you. Attack crit damage. The speed is not that great, but attack crit damage attack build for her and speed and subs. I really don't see her used too much. I'm trying to think like what I would even use her for, but really not. I don't really even know what I would use her for, honestly. I mean, she's not completely useless. I'm not sure where I would use her compared to like having other monsters be better for whatever she is. But for better than she is for that slot. So I really don't want to go too much into her. This mermaid is pretty interesting, right? Beneficial effect removal here, cleanse and shield here, and then we have triple hit. Remove beneficial effect with the first attack, decreases defense, and increases skill cooldown by 2 turns with 50% chance for each attack. This is nice. I would rune her for either Violent Will or Swift Focus, actually, and I would rune you. I think that there's definitely a play where you rune her to be like super fast, go before anything else, remove and use the crushed hopes, go first, strip something. Block beneficial effects and decrease defense. Not block beneficial effects. Sorry, decrease defense and increase skill cooldown. She's kind of like a Theomars killer, right? So didn't she used to block beneficial effects? I think she used to block beneficial effects, and then they changed it. Anyway, I think that's interesting for Guild Wars, like against Theomars, right? But I think also. For turn 1, if you're trying to get turn 1 in RTA, I think a Swift Focus Wind Mermaid would not be a bad idea. But I usually see her Violent Will, Speed HP, Speed Defense HP, good accuracy and subs overall. Because she does need accuracy for her 1st and 3rd skill. This one definitely needs accuracy, and she needs. I mean, this is nice, but also damage based on her max HP. And then this is proportionate to the monster's level. So it's not based on her max HP for the second one, but it is based on her max HP for the first one. And then this is just based on her attack. But I think that one does pretty decent damage too. I think the multiplier isn't even that bad on that. On these mermaids. This one and the fire one I think have decent multipliers for their 3rd skills. But anyway, she's a support monster anyway. So speed HP, speed defense HP. Even though speed HP is gonna do. But I've seen her with crit damage too. I've seen her with crit damage, like unexpected. She was like the damage dealer of the group, and people were like, "Oh, I wish I knew that going into it, because I just died." But yeah, I think definitely fast and definitely accuracy, and she's used mostly for just Guild Wars and World Arena. And then we have Kung Fu Girl. She's got a. Let's go to her actual thing. Because we can't see her skill. She's a fusion monster, right? She's not too exciting. She has this remove beneficial effects. She has this remove. Every hit has a chance to remove all beneficial effects, right? 4 times, removes all beneficial effects. I think she could. I mean, it's just random though. So I've seen her do mostly disappointing, like, why did you do that? Like, Faye ignores defense, right? So who cares about beneficial effect removal when you can just ignore defense? Doesn't matter if they have immunity. Doesn't matter if they have a defense buff or anything. But I think we're getting too long-winded. Fusion. How about that? How about that? Fusion or speed. I mean, I think I don't get too excited. I mean, interesting because she's got beneficial effect removal, but I don't get too excited about it. Anyway, he's got crowd control. He's got the freeze. Could be good for early game for TOA for crowd control or free to play. Same thing with him. Crowd control. He's got the dots. I think it's I think these two are good for crowd control. Bulldozer is a nice monster. He's definitely one to consider building for Guild War offense. I've also seen some people use him for arena offense and for RTA with Immensity, the Wind Horse, and basically increase the attack gauge of Fire Frankenstein and also defense buff and crit rate buff, and then just ignore defense and just one-shot something, right? So you can get turn 1, ignore defense, regardless of anything like Copper. Copper needs to have double the defense of the thing that you're attacking. This guy doesn't. I see him used a lot to kill Feng Yans on defense for Guild Wars. Not just Feng Yans, but a lot of stuff. But usually either triple guard or rage guard, something like that. Defense, crit damage, defense. Do as much damage as possible. Because this is based on his defense, right? Ignore target's defense. He will be stunned after performing the attack. So you can do will on him too, so he doesn't get stunned. Damage increases according to your defense, right? Because you do lose a turn when he stuns himself. So you at least don't lose a turn when he's on will. So it's nice to have him on will. Mine is not. Mine is triple guard, defense, crit damage, defense. But he does a nice amount of damage. She's got an AoE defense break with 100% chance that the enemy has beneficial effects. But a lot of the time the enemy beneficial effects are immunity. So how does that help, right? Or defense buff. Like, okay, well, that's great. Then we have this cleanse is not bad. The cleanse is not bad. I mean, she could be useful in dragons. I did use her in dragons on my Asia account when I first started. We've got this guy. He steals a beneficial effect from the enemy. He's also fusion, but he steals a beneficial effect from the enemy. I thought he might be fun to use in RTA, but I have or Guild Wars, but I have not used him. But I think it could be fun to use him there. Let's actually see the skill, and I think he heals too. But I mean, we really don't need to go over the other 3 stars that much. Continuous damage, okay. Defense break. Damage increases according to your HP situation. And then Marauder recovers HP by 30% of the inflicted damage and steals 1 beneficial effect. He's a defense-based monster. I think he could be... I mean, I think he might be a fun monster to use in RTA or in Guild Wars, like offense. But I think that's about it, right? I think that's about it. I mean, people used to use him in Dragons B10 to steal the invincibility. So you could still use him there, but really that's about it. I think Bulldozer is the most useful out of the 4 stars, the 3 stars, the 4 stars. Bulldozer, and then these two could be good for crowd control. Like, could be okay for crowd control. And then the Fire Viking could be fun, but I mean, those are just fun monsters. Those aren't like need to build. Bulldozer, I would strongly recommend building a Bulldozer for your Guild Wars. He's one of the better Nat 3s in the game, in my opinion. Alright guys, under 30 minutes! Is Drew kidding? No, still talked way too much. But next one, we're gonna shoot for 20. Next one, shoot for 20. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Good luck on getting Verti Heal or one of the Nat 5s, Rakan, or whatever you're looking for. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you as always in the next one.